Mi papá immigrated from la belleza que es Medellín, Colombia, to Miami, Florida, all with one goal, pa echar pa'lante la familia. And with that same spirit, I started the Que Hola podcast. It's all about sharing the journey creatives from the 305 and beyond have traveled, the W's, the L's, pitfalls, and lessons, all with a focus on first and second generation Latinos, pero para todos los creatives. Entonces, parce, Que Hola contigo. Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else you stream your podcast. I'm your host, D Fig. Oh, also, we're on YouTube. Listo.
Hey everyone, this is DJ.
And this is Ish.
And this is Season 5 of Pero Let Me Tell You. The Dingo H.L. Baby. That's from what? South Park, I was going to say.
Seinfeld, yeah.
I didn't know that was a real thing. And I didn't even know that there was like a Meryl Streep movie about that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because it's Meryl on top of everything.
Yeah, yes, it's the legendary Meryl Streep.
Legendary Meryl Streep.
You know, the Dingo H.L. Baby.
Oh, no, so, not the dingo.
On that note.
On the dingo note.
On the dingo note. Welcome, everybody. Episode 2.
You got it last week.
5.
Yes.
225. Oh, we're almost at 227. There's no place like home.
I'm already working on something fun for that episode.
So welcome, everybody. Welcome back, Ish.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Neri, for stepping in and guest hosting last week.
And it's funny because I forget if I told him on air or after. You know, when he was telling us that you know, he was going on this tour, and I'm like, oh, when are you going? Oh, the next day. I actually flew out.
That's crazy.
I flew out in a few hours, and I'm like, wow.
I think he was like flying out as I was editing the episode.
Yeah, I was like, if I was appreciative of you being on the show before, you know. So, but Neri's good friend, you know.
He's great
people,
peeps.
So
great peeps.
Anyway,
and I have to say the episode was fantastic.
Thank you.
You know, it was
so how was New York? I love that you were on a podcast event without me.
Well, yes, because sometimes we have to divide and conquer.
Right.
Truth
be told, Comic-Con is not my element.
Right.
No el elemento mío.
No el elemento.
But I would have totally been up for a trip to New York, but whatever, next time.
Well, you know, I did do 3 days at the con.
Wow.
I did Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but I did a lot of interviews, which you can see on our YouTube channel. Did some interviews with a bunch of artists like Caden Phoenix, who created the first Latina superhero group. Luciano Vecchio, who's from Argentina, who... You got to check out the interview, but he created a hero. You want to know what the name of the hero is?
What?
Sereno.
No.
Yes. Yes. That's what it's like a 5-minute interview, but that's what it's about. The minute that I saw that, I was like...
send him a t-shirt.
We do. Look, he's living in Argentina, so I don't know about... I don't know how international rates. We'll figure something out. But it was great. It was fun. Like, I also got to, chat with the star of the Patrick Star Show. I got to speak with Patrick, the Starfish.
Okay.
Who I did not know also played Dauber on Coach.
Oh, okay, Coach.
Yes.
With Patrick T. Nelson.
Craig T. Nelson.
Yes,
Patrick is the Starfish. Craig T.
Freudian slip.
But it was great. It was fun. You know, it was. I got to see some people that I hadn't seen. Well, Alex Segura.
Oh, Alex.
I got to see Alex.
See, I should have seen Alex.
That's true. That's
a good old friend of ours.
That's true. One of the things I loved not only about seeing Alex, but there was a lot of I will say New York Comic Con is great about representation. Like, there was a lot of panels about, like, there was literally one that I went to called Arroz con Cosplay.
Oh, okay.
I mean, hello, if ever there was a panel that I was going to attend.
Right.
But it was fun. It was cool. You know, I did cosplay for 2 out of the 3 days. By the third day, I was not wearing the boots.
Right.
For another day.
You know, I wonder if you going to Comic-Con or whatever for 3 days, if that's equivalent to, like, me going to the car show for 3 days.
It is. So it is, but in a different way. Because the thing with Comic-Con is that
there's rotating things.
Right. The floor stays the same, but there's different, panels and viewings. Like, oh, I have to say this. Okay. So I went to the Chucky series panel for a bit.
Was Jennifer Tilly there?
Okay, you know how when we went to see Fuller House, I was like, oh my God, in person, John Stamos is John Stamos.
Right.
In person, Jennifer Tilly is Jennifer Tilly.
You saw Jennifer Tilly?
Yes.
You didn't fucking even call me.
Well, she was kind of far
you
away.
You messed up so much with this whole trip and me.
But I was like, That's Jennifer Tilly. Like, she's there. She was even wearing a tiara.
I love Jennifer Tilly.
adore
Jennifer
her.
Tilly is totally underrated.
Even though she's Oscar nominated.
Yes.
Or Oscar nominated or Oscar winner?
We need more Jennifer
We do,
Tilly
we
in
do.
our life. And for those of you who don't know who Jennifer Tilly is, look it up.
Yeah, you won't be
What's the movie? It's that movie.
Bound?
Yes, Bound with
Gina Gershon.
yes, Crystal. From
Yes,
Joker.
yes, exactly. Crystal, because they could have had Janet Jackson or Paula Abdul, but they went with Crystal.
Boom.
But yeah, no, it was fun. It was great. Hopefully we'll get to go back next year, and next year it'll be the two of us. We will go together.
I'll see it when I believe it. So, anyway, I wanted to actually start. I feel there's a lot.
Before we get into it, though, I just want to remind people that
plugs.
just really quick plug that we're doing trivia on October 19th, Wednesday at Beat
Our
Culture.
trivia is back, people. We had trivia last month because a lot of people have contacted me
Yes,
and they're like,
same.
They're like, oh,
When
when are
is
you guys
it?
doing trivia? I'm like, we did trivia last month.
Third Wednesday of every month. It's there. But of course, being October, it's spooky season, so it's going to be Halloween themed. We are strongly encouraging costumes, everyone. Please, please, please come in costumes. It's October 19th. It's a Wednesday at Beat Culture. Obviously, we'll post it on the Instagram. But yeah, and then we've got some Bim Bam Boyo pop-ups coming up as well on October 22nd at J. Wakefield and the 29th at Unseen Creatures. So we'll mention those again, but yeah.
You're going to make me wear a costume, aren't you?
On Wednesday, absolutely. If you pull out that monk costume, you're gonna need.
You know me. I'll probably
I'll
probably take one of my baseball jerseys and be like, I'm a baseball player.
No, it doesn't count unless you wear pants too.
I have the baseball pants.
Okay, if you wear the whole uniform, that'll count.
Okay.
That I will
But
settle.
that was for my pre-COVID body. I don't know if it fits my post-COVID body. My pre-COVID body, that was something I worked
It was
for.
pre-COVID.
Anyway, so, bueno. Lots to pack this week. I
Yes,
feel there
there's a
was
lot
a
going on.
lot going on this week. I don't even know where to start. I think maybe we should start with Kanye.
Okay, sure, because you guys talked about him last week, and
Yeah.
it's only
gotten
worse. Yeah, it hasn't gotten better.
So I mean, I look. I don't think we need to go into detail everything Kanye has said and done. This specific week, he got
This week in Kanye.
This week in Kanye, he got booted off of Twitter because he made this whole anti-Semitic remark
Yep.
that he was going to go. What is it?
DEFCON
3 against Jews
On the Jews, yeah.
so on and so forth. So here's my thing with Kanye, and it's sort of what Neri and I spoke about last week. But again, since this week it's took a whole
Yeah,
other turn,
it's gotten worse. Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Do you think we should even be like? Do we think we should ignore him, or do you think that we should talk about it like we're talking it now and like deconstruct? Because the thing with Kanye is that whether you love him or hate him, whether you think he's full of shit, whatever, Kanye makes news and people talk about Kanye. Right. So. What?
But does Kanye make news because Kanye makes news, or do we put Kanye in the news because Kanye brings eyeballs? Like it's to me, it's a little bit chicken egg at this point, right? Because to your point, if we stop covering him, will he eventually not be news, or will he always be news by virtue of because at this point he's not even releasing music. You know what I mean? He's not.
Well, he released an album last year, which was amazing.
Donga.
With he even has a song with The Weeknd.
Right. But what I mean is it's not like he's in the news right now because he's promoting, an album, let's say. But then at the same time, you kind of got to call people out on their bullshit.
Right.
So it's that vicious cycle of like, well, let's stop talking about him. We don't have to talk about him. Fair enough. We don't have to dissect him as we are about to do right now. As we're doing right now. But at the same time, you kind of can't just let it slide, right? Like you gotta call people out on their bullshit across the board. So I don't know. I don't know if it's a matter of if we, if a tree falls in the woods, does it make a sound, right?
Right. I just, Shaun White, do you ever listen to Shaun White?
No.
So Shaun White is very much the activist, and I agree a lot with what Shaun White says. And he said something this week in his podcast that we can't ignore him, because some people
In
you
what
could
sense?
just ignore because of that, because he has influence and he has a lot of people that listen to him. Right. So you need to call him out on his bullshit. Right. And the fact that he, he went on Tucker Carlson, he went with Candace Owen, this is the same guy.
He's seeking out the quote unquote right outlets.
Right. But this is the same
that was
guy.
a double entendre that I didn't.
I don't know how much
mean.
His discography or his catalog, but he has songs like Black Skinhead where he like really calls out racism and things like that. And he has that in a lot of songs. So
that was social conscious.
So it's just, as I said last week with Neri, I there's a part of me that wants to give him some leeway because there's a mental illness there, right?
Okay, yeah.
But that you can't also get a free pass and say whatever you want because there's mental illness there because
there's a lot of people who have mental illness that are not bigoted statements.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what? Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. It's sort of like when people say racist shit, they're like, "Oh, I was drunk." Well, you know what? When I get drunk, I don't say racist shit.
Yeah, I just make out with people.
Right. I become giggly.
You do. Yes. It's like an expose concert.
But I don't, the average person doesn't say racist shit. Right. And he, most importantly, has a lot of resources to be able to attend to this. So I don't think he should get a free pass, but it's just it's really unfortunate because the thing with him is that I feel that I'm finding, and I said this last week, that with him I'm finding I have to do with what we've done with other people like a Bill Cosby and
Art from the artist.
Although this is very different. This is a very, very different situation.
Well, but it's still a hot button.
But you have to separate the art from the person because I love his music and he is he's one of the best. And whether you like his clothing brand or not, his clothing brand has made an impact. And it's really, that's what fashion does. You release a collection, and when it trickles down to other collections and other clothes,
you've made it.
And it has. Right, and it has. So his talent and his pop culture contributions can't be ignored, pero el tipo está freído.
But again, it's that thing of like, you said something interesting, which is at the level that he's at with all the money that he has the resources. But by the same token, on the flip side, he also has so much money and so many people around him as yes men.
Yes men. Right. Because if that ship goes down, a lot of people are going to go down with it.
Right. So he has a lot of people just basically saying, yeah, Kanye, yeah, say whatever you want. Go ahead, because it's they're making money off of it.
Right. But I don't. We've said a million times that we don't believe in cancel culture, but there are certain acts that do warrant being canceled. So there's other people that have been canceled for pretty egregious things.
But less, quote unquote.
But, why is his music still streaming? Right?
Right.
Why are DJs still playing his songs? Right?
He did something as bad, if not worse, as R. Kelly.
I remember, I'm an equal opportunist here, right? I remember, and this is the type of shit that when they bring it up, you have to say, okay, you have a point, as much as I hate to admit it. I remember when Trump first announced candidacy and he gave the, Mexicans are rapists, blah, 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 that Macy's stopped carrying his collection.
Yes.
Because Donald Trump, if you remember, had a collection of like shirts,
ties cologne.
And stuff. Like, I actually have a Donald Trump tie. My aunt gave me for Christmas years ago. And Macy's stopped carrying.
I think they even stopped carrying Ivanka's.
Right, but not for that.
No, but I'm saying
for something else.
Oh, okay.
But they stopped carrying it for that reason, for the comment he made about Mexicans. Right? And rightfully so. Right? So why isn't this happening with Kanye? Because what he said was pretty darn awful.
Right. But then you get into that whole I hate to call it the gray area, but you get into the area of like, well, but it's his art. But art, we can't censor art. Right? No. But that's where.
Right, but the comments he's made about Jews is not art.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Right.
But what
I'm
saying,
not even talking about the White Lives Matter shirt that was part of his collection.
Yeah, right.
I'm talking about the
DEFCON 3 on the Jews.
Right.
Yeah.
On the Jews.
Right.
Right? Like there's no
He didn't call one out.
Right.
Right. It's not like he said on Jerry Seinfeld.
So, I mean, we have to call it for what it is.
Right.
So if you're going to cancel the other one,
you need to cancel
you need
everybody.
to cancel him.
Right.
So why is this closed still in certain stores? They should.
Right.
They
Oh,
should.
okay, we're talking about the... Okay, sorry. I thought we were still talking about the music being played.
Well, I did mention the music, but I compared it because Donald Trump had a collection.
And
Kanye has a collection.
Okay, got it.
So why is his collection still being carried in stores?
Right.
So if somebody comes out and says, oh, that's a double standard, well...
They're not wrong.
They're not wrong.
They're
not wrong because what he said is atrocious. And it has there's no turning back from that comment. Right. It wasn't a comment that was taken out of context or a comment.
Yeah, there was no right. You misunderstood.
Tongue in cheek and all that. No, he was very direct in what he said. Yeah. So
there was no misinterpretation.
So yeah. So speaking of racism,
well, actually, before we go to racism, I just wanted to touch on something. I don't know if it's on your list because as you know, listeners, we don't talk to each other about what we're going to talk about. But just because you touched on mental illness, can we talk even if briefly, about the verdict that was just handed down on the Parkland shooter, Nicholas Cruz? So, as I'm sure all of our listeners remember, actually, it was during our first year. So it's been 5 years ago.
It was like I think episode.
It was Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Because I think our first episode was like February, the first weekend of February 2018, and this happened on Valentine's Day.
Yeah. So Nicholas Cruz, the Parkland high school shooter, the verdict came down today. He was going to get life instead of the death penalty.
Yes.
And obviously the parents are very upset. And I will say I don't know how I would have, voted or I don't know if that's the right word in that sense. But I will say that I read something that made me very upset. I read something, admittedly it was a blurb on Instagram, but it was from the Miami Herald. That the Broward Circuit Judge read a lengthy verdict form for nearly an hour, and count by count, the judge read the jury's decision that the details of Cruz's troubled life were enough to spare him execution by the state of Florida. And that reasoning really pissed me the fuck off.
Okay.
Because you know what? Just because you have, and again, I if I was that jury, I don't know if I would have picked death penalty because to sentence somebody to death is heavy, obviously. But no, to me, that's you know what, you had a shitty life. Sucks to be you. Too bad, so sad. That doesn't give you a fucking free ride to go murder to go mow down a bunch of people, and then other people be like, oh, pobrecito.
Right.
Like, no, fuck him.
Fair enough. But remember, this trial was not about guilt. This trial was not.
Well, no, it was about the sentencing.
It was about only about the sentencing.
Right.
He
pled guilty.
He pled guilty. So this was not about an admission of guilt, or did he do it, or did he not do it, or was he insane at the time? Because remember, insanity.
Yeah, a legal defense of insanity is very different.
The legal defense. Wow, you're. Forget my years of law school. Your years
of Law and Order.
Man, you could out-talk any criminal attorney. Like, excuse me. I don't have... Excuse my law degree. Like,
sorry. Well, look, I didn't go to YouTube University, but, I went to Dick Wolf.
Right, but you've been watching SVU for what, like 20 years?
Oh, SVU? I've been watching all of them.
So you probably have more... I think you could try a case.
I could probably pass the bar in New York at this point.
Anyway, this is not a laughing matter. But so again, this was solely on sentencing, and generally insanity is a defense, right, for the crime or for the guilt that you did not have. Insanity can be assessed in two ways: that at the time of the crime you did not have the mental capacity to know what you were doing, or that at the time of your trial, you don't have the capacity to make an informed decision or consent as to your trial. Right. That's actually what they were trying to do with Jeffrey Dahmer back in the day. That they were trying. They were trying to see if he was insane, so he couldn't stand trial, so they could get an insanity defense, and then not send him to
Ed Gein.
Not send him to jail, but send him to a mental institution, even if it was for life. So we have to remember that in this case, as emotional as it is, it wasn't about him being guilty or not.
Because he was guilty. He pled guilty. He pled guilty.
There's no question about whether what he
Innocence
did.
or guilt.
In this case, What we saw, the trial, the machinations, were about whether the jury was going to recommend, based on the jury instructions, life in prison or prison, or the death penalty.
Right.
Now, what you're talking about in terms of him, his life, which he did have a shitty life. He did have a shitty life,
and
particularly
sucks,
one of the
but...
things that they used was that he had alcohol fetal syndrome, which is a very
true thing.
His biological mother drank excessively when she was pregnant, and there is such a thing as alcohol fetal syndrome, and that can affect you for life. So what they did is that they used that as a mitigating factor in the verdict or the decision as to whether they were going to give him life in jail or the death sentence, the death penalty. Again, a mitigating factor, because this is such an emotional trial that you kind of, you know, a lay person is not necessarily going to know all the legalities behind it and all the procedure behind it, but that was introduced as a mitigating factor, and that's very, very important to know. And also, from what I read, I could be wrong, there was only one juror who did not want the death penalty, and for the death penalty to go forward, it has to be unanimous, right? So all it takes is one. Okay. So, you know, if you're frustrated at the outcome, be more frustrated at the system than so much. I mean, obviously you're going to be frustrated at him, but this was the system working, how the system was designed to work. You know,
it just pisses me off when they give a reasoning like, you know, oh, he had a hard life, so he shouldn't be put to death. It's like, well, you know what? Where was his consideration for the troubles of others?
No, I get it.
Like, fuck off.
I get it. But it's again, this was used as a mitigating factor, and this trial was for that. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I mean, God forbid, nobody wants to be in those shoes and what those poor people went through. At the end of the day, everybody's life here is ruined, right?
Oh, there's even if you gotten the death sentence,
right? The 17
kids were not coming
victims
back. Right,
lost their life. Their families are forever changed. You know, whether you have any type of sympathy for him because of the way he was, you know, the things he went through growing up or not, it's another life ruined, and his family, because he has family too, right? So you're talking about a lot of people whose life was ruined because of this day, because of him, right? But I mean, these are a lot of, it's very complex, and I mean, it's law. It's supposed to be complex. Right. That's why, like, you know, I've already had this conversation with a few people today.
Okay.
who called me.
That's why you almost have it like a script almost. You're like,
they're like, and I'm like, listen, I understand that you think it's unfair and that it's wrong and blah, blah, blah. But this was not whether he was guilty or not guilty. This was simply sentencing. And you have to remember that. So, you know, no, it's just, it's a horrible, it's just a horrible tragedy.
It's a lose-lose.
It is a lose-lose, but, actually, speaking of losing,
okay, the transitions.
We're legal. Did you? Well, and unfortunately, it ties in that it was a school shooting, not a tie-in that anybody wants. Alex Jones. Did you hear about that?
Yes, almost. What is it? A billion?
Almost $1 billion.
$1 billion with the
900 and I think 983 million.
I mean, at that point, just round up.
Yeah.
I mean, total.
Que lo claven.
Oh, yeah.
Que lo claven, because you know what?
Go after him, go after his estate, go after anybody who comes after him.
Nobody wants to imagine losing a child that way. But those people, what they went through of losing a child in the way that they did, these were kindergartners.
Right. These were the epitome of children.
It was 2012 or 2014?
I was still at Zuby.
I think it was 2012.
It was 2012 because I was still at Zuby.
And a few weeks before the holidays, before Christmas, you know, I always thought these kids already have like Christmas gifts. Like these parents
or lists
have bought their kids Christmas gifts or Hanukkah gifts or whatever. And that happened. And then having to go through that trauma and then having this son of a bitch say that this didn't happen, because that's what Alex Jones did in his show. Said that these were crisis actors.
Right. These children
And
never
He
existed.
riled up his audience saying that these kids didn't exist, that what you saw on TV, they were all crisis actors. And you know what's having to do that you're burying your small child.
And have to deal with people calling you a liar.
A liar, and that this didn't happen. That's a crisis actor. Right, on purpose. Right, on purpose. Because this was done very intentionally.
What? And I know
He's a conspiracy theorist.
I know you don't have the answers, but what, other than impressions and listens and clicks, what does he have to gain?
Because he's a conspiracy theory. That is how he makes his money, right? Because Alex Jones, have you ever seen InfoWars?
No. I have
Okay,
no
Alex
desire.
Jones is not even that, like, he's a branch of Fox News, because...
Okay, it's not even right-wing, quote-unquote.
Right, no. This is like alternate universe, right? This is like... Cosmos
Right.
shit,
Okay.
right? No, let me not
The multiverse.
Let me not insult the Cosmos.
Neil, no, don't insult Neil deGrasse.
This is like complete conspiracy theories that, like, probably 10 minutes before the show, he's like, what am I going to come up with today? And then he comes out and shows you on screen. Have you seen the show?
No.
He's like screaming. Like, literally, he's like this.
Okay.
Like, and he starts sweating, you know, and that's what he gets famous for. That's what he's done. So
Right. That's the brand.
So this is right. I was about to say this is very on brand with him. Look, obviously this really crossed the line.
Right. Yeah, it's one thing to be a conspiracy theorist about like aliens or whatever. It's another thing to go and say these parents are lying about their dead children.
Right. And it's just like, what type of horrible human being do you have? Because he knows the truth.
He's lower than a human
he
being.
admitted
Yeah.
that he knew the
Right.
truth.
Con eso que lo clavaron,
Right.
really.
He admitted. He
Yeah.
admitted that.
Yeah.
It's so funny because, like, his attorney
Oh, that's right. That he
accidentally leaked the phone
Yeah,
records,
yeah.
and, like, everybody thinks that he did it on purpose. He was like,
ladies and gentlemen, an attorney can have a conscience.
bitch, you're going down.
Yeah.
Like, oops, I did a mistake.
What? How did that get in there?
And in law, there is the doctrine of excusable neglect, which pretty much says, you know, you could make
Mistakes
a
happen.
mistake. Yeah.
Right.
And the most common form attorneys make mistakes
Mm-hmm.
during the discovery process of a trial or of a lawsuit is emailing, faxing, sending documents that are privileged or they shouldn't have.
Hitting forward by accident. Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because there's so many voluminous documents that
Especially for a trial like this.
right, that
Yeah.
something can leak, and you could always be like, "Oops, excusable neglect." Pero que lo claven. That is somebody that, like,
Do
no
you
sympathy for.
really think that?
They're not going to see that money
Okay.
because he's going to file for bankruptcy.
Okay. But even if you file for bankruptcy, doesn't the courts like put liens and things on anything? No.
Judgments usually go down with the bankruptcy.
okay.
I mean, he doesn't have $1 billion. His net worth is not $1 billion.
No, right. But
I mean, I don't think Beyonce's net worth is $1 billion. Like,
okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
like,
yeah,
yeah, she has a lot of money, and Infowars makes a lot
Right,
of money, but I don't
but
think
not
they
$1 billion.
And it's 900. It's $1 billion on top of, I think.
There was
the other
another-
one, it was like 40 or 50 million.
Right. I was gonna say there was another
Which
judgment.
is pocket change. you
Well,
know?
compared to $1 billion, I mean.
Yeah. So, quedó claven.
Yeah.
Him, no sympathy for. Bueno, what I wanted to bring up earlier, which is...
Yeah. So we got a little derailed there, but we're bringing it back.
Which is, we're talking about such hard topics today.
I know.
But it's been a rough week. What happened in the LA City Council?
Oh.
Yeah. So for our listeners,
That was
who
no bueno.
who may or may have not known, so this week, the LA City Council, there was audio leaked from about a year ago.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that long ago.
Yeah, it was either a year or 10 months ago, but
Okay.
it was some time back. Where three of the council people, Anuri Hernandez, Gil Cedillo, and Kevin De Leon, okay, all Latinos,
Right. Yes. Every one of them.
all Democrats, right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. She in particular, Nuri Hernandez, was saying awful things
Yeah.
about. I think it was like about
It was about indigenous people.
No, it was about a. So I think there was a co-councilman who had, I believe, an adopted child who was black.
Okay.
I believe that it was a co-councilman. I could be wrong, but she was talking about a black child, And
Oh, I thought you were talking about Black Child and more. I thought
no,
she.
no. No, she was an equal opportunist.
Oh, okay. That's why I thought que ella desarrolló por ahí para adelante.
She did make indigenous remarks.
Okay.
She did make homophobic remarks too.
Oh, I didn't hear those.
Oh no,
Okay.
this was like a buffet,
A buffet of bigotry coming to you.
She was like, "You're all going down, son of a bitch." It's like, ella tiró a todo el mundo, right? But she called. Did you hear what she called the little black boy?
No.
I forgot the word she used in Spanish, but it's a monkey.
Oh, wow.
Right? And she went on a tirade. And you know what I...
She resigned, right?
She
didn't-
was the president. Mm-hmm. She resigned of the position of the presidency.
Oh, but she's still on the council.
She actually resigned. Today.
Oh, okay.
Today, Fake Friday.
Okay.
She resigned on Thursday.
Yeah.
But after like 3 or 4 days of like people protesting and pressure, because she at first did not resign.
Okay.
Right? So here's my thing about that. And this is why, like, when these things happen,
How was it recorded?
they don't know yet who recorded it.
Okay.
But here's my thing on it, right? Which, again, when these things happen, I sort of scratch my head and I'm like, how the fuck did this happen? This was like business.
She wasn't at her house.
Right?
Right.
This isn't like a conversation they caught her having in private in her house with someone.
Right.
Right? This was with other...
It was at the office.
At the office.
Right.
With the Los Angeles City Council. Like, how can you even begin to think that's okay?
Right. That you're not going to get caught. Actually, you know what? I'll tell you how. Because she's probably done it before and nothing came of it.
I don't know, but it's like,
you do it. It's like you do it the first time, and when there's no repercussions or no impact, then you do it the second time, and a third, and a seventh.
Right, and and that opened up the bigger conversation of something that we already know about racism in the Latino community, because this is one of those things that like a lot of people are like, oh my God, there's racism in the Latino community. It's like, yeah, there is.
Sorry, I'm going to correct you. There's racism in the Latinx community.
Oh yes, I'm sorry.
Because the people who have that surprise assume that they are like the most woke of the woke.
Right. Right. And it's like, yeah, like anybody who's Latin will tell you, yes,
yeah,
racism is a thing. Colorism is a thing.
It is alive and well, kids.
Yes, it's alive and well. And a lot of Latin people, specifically against not black, African American.
Yeah.
Right? They're okay with the black people of their country.
Right.
Pero not African American.
I mean, hello. The episode of ¿Qué pasa USA?
Yeah. But
what's his? I forgot the character's name, but Fulanito's not black. He's Cuban.
Right. But look at that. That episode is probably 45 years old, and they were calling that out back then. Because that's really what they're calling out in that episode.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
That's
because
Carmen's
episode, friend is African American, and the grandparents are freaking out when she brings him to the house,
el amigo llega.
putting away, and then the black guy comes and he's like,
Cuban. Yeah.
He's like, Joe, why are you friends with him? He's blacker than I am. And Joe's like, he's not black, he's Cuban.
Right.
Right? But that happens in most Latin communities, right? And the issue is African American, right? And that racism, as we see here, is alive and well. And when we say that, it's not false
and
alarms.
It's bipartisan.
Yes, it's bipartisan. And when we say that, it is true. It's not us being overly sensitive or ringing the alarm. This is true. Yeah. And they're Democrats and they're Latina, right?
Right.
And in LA,
right, which is supposed to be like very progressive, very liberal,
right? This wasn't the Arkansas City Council where like the Latina councilman is like third generation Latina,
right.
But her name
and she's progressive for the area,
right? And her name still happens to be
Maria
Hernandez,
Gonzalez, yeah,
right. But it was her great grandmother that came from Mexico,
right.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about L.A.,
right? Like
Latino. And she was speaking in Spanglish even.
Yeah, again, so she must be, let's say, first gen,
right? But you know what though? They've gotten a lot of shit, rightfully so. Good, because you need to call out people for their shit.
Yeah.
Because we criticize when other people in other parties...
Like what you were just saying about, Trump and Macy's and Kanye stuff still being sold.
We call out other people in other parties and other ideologies when they don't call out their own shit. Right. They don't call out their own racism or their own insurrections and all that bullshit. Right? So we need to call out people even if they're in our side of ideology. You need to call them out for their shit. And... I was about to, when I was like thinking about the things I wanted to talk about this episode, I was like going to go on this whole tirade on how they needed to resign, but they resigned.
She beat you to the punch.
Yeah. So yeah, you got to call that shit out. You got to call that shit out. And this is a rock we keep going, stumbling on. When these things happen, it needs to be fast and it needs to be swift, because you need to send a message that this type of commentary and these type of comments will not be tolerated in any way, shape, or form. You say something like that and you're out.
Yeah.
Like
actions have consequences.
Right. Yeah. You're out. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200.
You go straight to jail.
You're done. Yeah, se acabó el show. Se acabó el jueguito. So, anyway. Okay. I actually wanted to bring this up. This is a totally fluffy subject.
Well, we need some fluff after it was heavy.
Fluffy.
Yeah.
Okay. In the last couple of weeks, have you noticed that TikTok and the Instagram and all that, it's all been about the butterboards?
Yes.
I mean, today I actually saw a lady that was like, you know what? I'm gonna step up the butterboard. I'm gonna make a cream cheese board. And it looks very tasty, by the way.
But where will it end with the spreads?
Yeah. Okay, so why is the butterboard?
I have no idea.
Because people are, you know what's funny? A lot of people are giving like shit on the butterboard because they say it's unhygienic, and I'm like, when I thought about the butterboard,
okay,
I never thought about double dipping. I always thought about getting like a little bread, a little knife, digo, and putting it on my little crostini.
Okay, I could see. I mean, yes, I guess that's how you should do it. But I can also see, stop and think about any gathering we've had. You know, at some point somebody's just gonna be like, agarrar a cookie or whatever, and just go to town.
Well, maybe when a gathering in our close friends, but en una fiesta fina.
No, una fiesta fina, no. But you know that a gathering of our friends, we're gonna grab the Gilda crackers, and that's at least a two-tip.
Explaining a una vieja de esta cubana a butterboard, mima. Mira, señor. Minta. Esto es una tabla de mantequilla.
Pero ¿cómo de mantequilla?
Pero ¿cómo de mantequilla, chico?
Pero una tabla hecho de mantequilla. Pero ¿cómo tú guardas eso?
Ay, pero ¿qué tiene esa mantequilla? Mira, no hay nada más rico.
¿Cómo se lava esa tabla?
No hay nada más rico que ponerle la mantequilla arriba de una galleta Hilda.
It's so good. It just is. You know what? Fight me on it. I don't care.
You know what? When you put that butter on top of a Hilda cracker, that is the definition.
I love that you just said Hilda.
No, Hilda. That is the definition of more than the sum of its parts.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about like
cracker and butter.
But when you put it together, it's like, pero how? Magic.
It is. It's magic. It's proof magic exists.
Okay, so why are we talking about the butterboard? Why are we talking about the butterboard on Pero? Let me tell you.
Well, because we're fat asses, number one, and we'll talk about butter any chance we get.
Yes,
that's a given.
Yeah.
I don't know you know what I think it is. Honestly, this is gonna sound so like cliche or almost, but I feel like we're just constantly getting so bombarded with so many. Like, as we've literally just spent 30 minutes talking about heavy shit left and right.
Let's talk now about literally caloric.
Right. It's like, you know what? I'm just going to eat the butter and enjoy the day. Fuck the world. Like, I'm just going to enjoy.
I am here because
the world is going to hell in a handbasket. I'm eating the butter.
That is so American. Like, we're just eating the butter. We're just eating the butter.
We're done.
You know what a total Cuban version of that would be? A bocadito board.
Oh.
That you have a board with the bocadito paste.
With bocadito paste, yeah.
And then you have like, you could get the bocadito bread, maybe a little toasted.
Oh, or you can go a little fancy and get the little Hawaiian slider rolls.
Oh. Well, but that would take it out. No, I would prefer it that way.
I'm saying if you're going to elevate
but that would take it a little bit out of the
Cuban of it all.
Right.
Okay. I was thinking something a little more like a fancy, you have options.
Or you could have a guava one where you have phyllo dough and it's like a deconstructed pastelito.
But the problem with that is in the phyllo dough you have to bake it.
No, because you can make it like crostinis.
Okay, I'm back in.
And then you could drizzle cream cheese on it.
See, I was thinking the opposite because you said the cream cheese board.
But
I was
drizzle
thinking,
it with
right,
the guava.
Right.
Oh,
because the
okay.
guava is easier to
Okay,
drizzle.
yes. Okay.
As we know.
Yes. Yes. Oh, okay.
Well, our holidays are around the corner,
Yes.
so we may have to make a
But
cream
let me
cheese
tell you,
board.
it's gonna be having guava and cheese.
A timba board.
A timba board.
A timba board. That's what it is.
We come up with the best ideas live on air.
We do.
A timba board. Okay. We coined it first, people. A timba board.
Yes.
Pero let me tell
So
you,
let me tell
presents
you, a timba
a
board.
timba board. Why?
That's like a cabaret show.
timba board?
Pero let me tell you presents a timba board.
No, but like on The View this week, they had a butter board. On
they did?
They brought, because they were talking about it. This became a topic on The View. Last week on the Today Show, they brought a butter board. And they brought it in the second hour of Today, which is like the highly rated one.
Right.
It wasn't like the fourth hour.
Okay.
Right? I'm like, everybody's talking about butter boards.
I wonder if they're gonna have butter boards at the New York Food and Wine Festival. It's happening this weekend in New York.
But you know the thing about the butter board, though, seriously, it has to be air conditioned. Like, you have to have it inside the house.
You can't have that like a barbecue.
Because that's not going to
And
end
especially
well.
not here.
Yeah, no.
Especially not in Miami.
Oh, yeah, we can't leave a buttercream cake out for too long.
El helado se hace sopa. Un butter board, that's gonna be just running.
We have here a grease board.
Oh, and then it's just gross. See,
Melted butter. Come dip your shrimp.
oh,
This is a shrimp scampi board.
that should not be in the heat either.
So butter boards have to be, at least in Miami,
Indoor. That's an indoor.
An
It's
indoor thing.
Yes.
Butter board.
O por lo menos like una terraza que tiene ventilador.
No, not even that.
No.
You need air
It has to be air
conditioning. No, porque cuántas veces have we been to a birthday party that
true.
they're in a tent and shit, and the
That's
cake
true.
está ahí todo desparramado.
That's such a great word.
Speaking of cake,
Oh, okay.
cake.
You're on point with the transitions today.
my birthday's coming up this week.
Your birth, that's right. Happy early birthday. Your birthday's the 15th, so
Yes.
this is Pero Friday, but
Yes.
happy, yes. And I cannot wait.
Let's see how my parents mess up this year.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. I was going to say I can't wait to go to Maggiano's, but the cake!
Cake. So for our listeners,
Wait, are they going to dinner with us?
no.
So when will we have, when's the cake happening?
Well, the day before.
The day
before.
So
no,
the 14th.
No. Earlier.
The day
in
of.
Yes, yes.
Oh my God.
So
we're gonna, oh my God.
listeners.
So we are going to get the fresh story
Yes.
over dinner.
So listeners, some of you may know this because this really became this story took off last year.
It took off almost as much as Eva Mendes' sponges.
Yes. But for those of you who are new, welcome. So the inside joke, well, it's not an inside joke. So the thing is that my parent, I love me a Publix cake.
Yes.
Right. And I'm a very, very simple guy.
It's true.
I just want a quarter sheet Publix cake, half vanilla, half chocolate, with their standard buttercream.
I mean, you like it when it's custom ordered, so it could be
No,
fresh. But in theory, they could even just walk in and pull one out of the freezer. Right.
Yes.
Like, I mean,
Yes. I do like it made to order, so I like to order it the day before. But again, very simple.
right.
Right.
It's even ready made if they push comes to shove.
My parents always want to get me my cake for my birthday. This is the same damn cake that I've always wanted.
No, they always get, not
No,
wanted.
that I've always like asked for.
Right.
Right. And they can never get the cake right.
Despite getting it right for years.
When I was a kid,
Right.
they always got it right.
Right.
But now in the last like 10 years, they can't get it right for the life of them. So one year my mom got me corn muffins and she's like, I know this is not what you wanted, but I didn't know what you want. And I'm like, really? And you didn't even think of cupcakes.
Right. She went corn.
Right. It's like, okay, I don't know what cake he wants. Let me just get him cupcakes.
Or a cookie.
Which there's always cupcakes at Publix.
That's one thing's true. Yeah.
Right. No, she got me corn muffins. Another year, which was a personal favorite of mine, that it was one of those things that after it happened, I was kind of like, how did she get this? My birthday is in October. They brought me a Christmas wreath. And I'm like,
That's my favorite. That is my favorite.
I'm like, how did you even get this? Because it's not like one of my birthdays in December.
right. Even
Right.
end of November.
Yes, but in end of November, they already start putting Christmas stuff out. Right?
No,
And-
no.
No.
She could have shown up with like
and the
with
wreath,
a jack-o'-lantern.
The wreath was even decorated with like plastic little Christmas lights.
So it was unmistakably a Christmas wreath.
It was a Christmas wreath with like green buttercream as the holly, right? And I'm like, how did she get this? Because she didn't order this. How you know that I sort of made up a story. Like I made up a story.
Okay. So
what
is the tale of Neri and the wreath?
I made up a story, totally fiction, by the way, that they were probably photographing for their catalog, their Christmas catalog.
La casualidad.
And they had some Christmas cakes there to photograph for the catalog.
Okay.
So once he took their photograph,
They had to sell
sold
it.
them.
They had to sell it.
And
Okay.
there comes my mom.
Ay, que más lindo.
And then one of the best ones was last year. I wanted a Mandalorian cake from Publix. So the Mandalorian cake from Star Wars, it is a cake that Publix does. It's not like they don't do that cake, but I wanted them to special order.
Right.
No. Like it is a cake that they do.
It's not like if I walked in there and asked for a Donna Troy cake.
Right. So I went to Publix.com. I did a screenshot of the Mandalorian cake with the code and everything. I sent it to my dad on WhatsApp and I put quarter sheet cake, half vanilla, half chocolate buttercream with the Mandalorian cake. I even told my dad, don't talk. Give the person at the bakery the phone.
I want this.
They will know what to do.
Right.
Because they had like boom, boom, bullet points.
All he had to do was put his name on the order form.
Yes.
Right.
I told my dad, don't talk. You were here when they brought the cake, right? So I see my parents coming in with a round cake plastic thing. And I'm like, here we go. And they got me a balloon cake that was vanilla.
Not even half and half.
Not even half and half. No. Round. Generic balloons.
I have told you what happened. You are so aspirational to think that you were going to get a Mandalorian cake. Because I guarantee that your mother took one look at that and she was like, ay, pero esto no está lindo. Esto no dice felicidades.
I want to go with the baby.
Más raro todavía. Más raro todavía.
Esa cosa fea,
She's like, ay, no, yo no sé, es un demonio. Yo no sé. No, los cumpleaños tienen que ser de globos y de fiesta. So you were never getting that cake.
Tonight, Fake Friday, I'm going to go to Publix.com and see what I could, like, curveball I could throw them. Maybe they'll bring me, like, a key lime pie.
Ooh. They bring you, like, shortbread cookies.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what it was. See, my parents...
It'd be great if at this point they just bring you, like, a pound cake, but with like that container of Publix frosting and just like DIY
and I
it.
remember there was a few years ago that this was maybe, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, that I wanted a Carvel cake. You can't go wrong on Carvel cakes. They're all the same. They're half vanilla, half chocolate with a little
the cookies or whatever
in the middle.
Right.
Like the only thing you could get is like a whale for Father's Day.
You can get fudgy or cookie puss.
Right. But it's always the same thing.
Right.
I would have
There's
settled,
like 3 options.
I would have settled for any shape.
Okay.
I told them go to Carvel on Miller, and I even gave them the address.
Again, you're very specific.
Like that's been there forever. They have had the Carvel cake forever. Do you know what they brought me? They brought me some TCBY cake that I think they sell.
TCBY does cakes?
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought. They're still TCBY? Like, I'm like, where did you find this oddity?
They time traveled?
So on top of that, they didn't get me the Carvel cake, which they have everywhere. They managed to find the only TCBY on Earth and get me a frozen yogurt cake. I was like, and then, we have our friend Stephanie thinks that my parents are doing this on purpose to get back on me. And as we know,
your pranks,
they're not that clever.
No, they're not. That's not their style.
No.
That's not their style.
No, they're not. They just really are kind of. But at this point in time, as I said last year, I'm all in.
Listen, it's content for next Friday.
Yes, I'm all in.
I mean,
I'm all in. I am like, what are they going to get me now? What are they going to get me now? They'll probably bring me like some fudge cake from BJ's, and I'll be like, oh, I don't want so much fudge.
That would be hilarious if they don't even. They completely switch the place to begin with,
or they just give up and bring me a Cuban cake, and I'll be like, oh.
It's so funny. Jose likes Cuban cake.
Whoa.
He likes it, not all the time, but he says that sometimes he just gets like that nostalgic craving for it. I'm like, I get what you're saying,
yeah,
but no.
But after like the third spoonful, I'm like,
I'm done. Yeah,
I'm done with the nostalgia. So next week, listeners,
cake
update. They'll see what we have. Will we get a cake? Will we get corn muffins? Maybe we'll get a strudel. Like,
the birthday strudel.
A scone. Maybe we'll get a scone. Pero eso no es lo que tú querías. I'm just gonna be like, see, it is.
A strudel.
No, when I was a kid, my mom always used to amenazarme con un brazo gitano.
That would be great if they show up with that.
Oh, no.
Here's
drama.
here's your birthday gypsy arm.
My mom would be like, si no te portas bien, te voy a comprar para tu cumpleaños un brazo gitano.
Who buys
and I'm
those?
like, nobody wants a brazo gitano.
Who buys them?
I don't know.
They're there.
Or maybe I'll get a cappuccino cake. That's a classic.
Actually, I prefer cappuccino cake to un brazo gitano.
And brazo gitanos are never fresh.
Because nobody buys them. There's only 10 brazo gitanos in the world, and they're just waiting to be purchased.
It's funny you say that. I can't recall ever, and I have a very good memory. I can't recall ever going to any function and the dessert is un brazo de gitano.
You're right.
I mean, I've been to Christmas things where it's been a log, but that's
but it's
more
a
like
cake. You cut it in.
That's
right,
more
right,
like a Swiss log.
Yeah. Like Swiss cake roll. Yeah.
Un brazo gitano. I wonder where that got its name from. Like, where's the brazo gitano? Like the gypsy arm. Like,
Oh, I know. Well, actually, it's because it has like a lot of like just crap on it, like a lot of, and so like.
You're making that up, right?
No, but go with me on this one. Go with me on this ride. Stereotypically, gypsies would have like a lot of bracelets and rings and everything. So because it's so colorful and it has a lot of swirls and things on it, that's probably why they named it that.
Okay.
Listen, that's my story. I'm going to stick to it. I came up with it on the fly.
Okay. So,
you're going to have to post a picture of the cake.
oh, well, yeah, of course.
Okay.
It's going to be expectation versus reality.
That's even better.
Like, right.
Because you can post like the stock picture and then the actual.
Right. Like, at this point in time, this is like one of the things I look forward to my birthday now.
I think we all do.
I hope they don't disappoint me and get me the cake I want.
Oh, well, I mean, that'd be nice, but it would suck for us. Like,
Or look at me like the standard like chantilly cake from Publix, or like the
chantilly cake is good.
No, they're good. And
Yeah,
the
but-
chocolate ganache is great, but it's not what I want.
Right, that's true. That's
I'm
fair.
like I'm very much the basic, the basic bitch when
Yeah.
it comes down to Publix cake. Again, half vanilla, half chocolate, buttercream, and I'm a happy guy.
You're
A happy
good
boy.
to go.
So, I saw this earlier this week, and when the moment I saw it, I was like, I have to read this. I just have to. So, they're one of the things that we've always talked about here on the show. Well, I mean, everybody from Miami talks about it. Is again versus what I just said,
reality versus
expectation versus reality. What people think Miami is.
Yeah,
Versus what it really is.
They think it's South Beach when
Expensive cars.
when it's really Kendall.
Right, expensive cars.
Yeah.
Brickle,
Night popping bottles, babe,
Yeah,
popping bottles.
So, but we always sort of, I mean, I guess this happens in any city. You sort of struggle to define
Right.
the Miami experience.
Right. Yeah, nobody ever thinks of
So
Queens when they think of New York.
there was something today on it's something they posted earlier this week on, I forgot the page because I want to give credit where credit is due. But I can't get the page.
Mm-hmm.
But
What was it about?
so the question is, what is the real Miami to you?
Okay.
Right? And
a broad
the comment was, I saw a TikTok montage of Miami Beach, Brickell, nightclubs, outdoor scenery, etc. And everybody in the comments was like, this is not the real Miami.
Show me the lie.
So this is what the person wrote. And this is
So this
hilarious.
is a response to what is the real Miami.
Yes.
Okay.
So the person wrote. And I think the person's name is Harold Redtooth, I think. But I thought this was perfect. Okay. What is a real Miami? You live in a West Kendall housing development with your mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, and uncle in a square-shaped single-family home identical to all the houses around you. Or alternatively, with your significant other in a 500 square foot efficiency in Sweetwater. During the summer, the street outside of your home becomes a canal 3 times a week. You are woken up each morning by chickens, which your Santero neighbors raise for sacrifice in their yard. Your rent is 40% of your income. You drive your 2008 Honda Civic with a bad transmission everywhere you go, including 1.5 hours each way to your job downtown because you don't live close enough to take the Metro Rail to make use of it. Perfect. You have resigned yourself to the fact that the rail extension you were promised years ago is never happening. You spill your colada on yourself while frantically swerving. I can never say that word. To avoid collision with a leased BMW being driven by a cokehead at least once a week. For breakfast, For breakfast, you eat rice and beans with maduros. For lunch, you eat rice and beans with maduros and a quarter chicken. For dinner, you eat rice, beans, and lechon from whatever leftover your tios had in Memorial Day because at a barbecue in AD Barnes Park. For breakfast, you eat rice and beans with maduro. Oh, no, I already read that part. Okay, so sometimes after work, you go to Pilates class or CrossFit gym in a converted warehouse.
Yep.
On Friday nights, you drink craft beer or smoke hookah in a converted warehouse. If you're feeling crazy, you will Uber downtown to party in Wynwood or Brickell, losing approximately 10% of your net worth in the process. You are in debt. Sometimes at sunset, you feel gentle breeze tinged with the smell of the ocean and look up towards the sky to see a chittering flock of parrots swirling beneath the pink-tinted clouds. For a moment, it's all worth it. Then you're struck and killed by a leased Audi being driven by a cokehead. I think this is.
Are we sure that was not written by Andrew Otaso?
I think
that
this
was
is
great.
on point.
That was fantastic.
Welcome to Miami.
Yes.
Bienvenidos a Miami.
That is very Miami.
Yeah. I love the being driven by the cokehead. The Audi and BMW. You know why?
I thought they're all leased.
Aquí I'm going to become my mother.
Okay. Bring it, Nary Jr.
Maybe to an extent you as well. I mean, we're already of an age and we're professionals. You know, we've done certain,
we've lived our life.
Jobs.
Right.
You know, I have enough experience. I know how much people make.
Based on what they do, yes.
Yeah, more or
can,
less.
yeah,
I know how much people make.
Right.
I know who makes, give or take a few thousand. I know that if you do this,
right,
you make this.
See,
I know
you can add things up.
Right. Just like I know people in my field that I'm like, I know.
Hago no cuadra.
Yeah. But to quote my mother, to a lot of people that you see them with their expensive cars and their expensive houses and their expensive boats, to quote my mother, ahí no da la cuenta. Ahí no da la cuenta.
But it's true.
Ahí there's some type of fraud or illegal activity. Ese cuento se lo mete a otra persona.
But it's not. Show me the lie.
Yeah. Right? And that's a very Miami thing, right? Don't question where you got this financial.
To quote former guests in front of the podcast, Billy Corbin, it is a sunny place for shady people. It is. And that's a very real thing. It is.
Because, I see people that I'm like, you're driving a $100,000 car.
And you are a secretary at a doctor's office.
Right. Or, But, down here, everybody's a realtor. So... That's the only one thing that I would have added to that story.
That was missing. Tu
prima, yes. Un realtor. Tu tío, un realtor. Tu amigo, un realtor. You're working on your realtor's license. We love all the realtors out there. No shade to realtors. But in Miami, everybody's a realtor.
And I feel like maybe it's lessened a little bit now. But I feel like there was un tiempo ahí, una época ahí, where everybody was being... It didn't matter you had a full-time job. Everybody was a realtor. Yep. Everybody was studying to be a realtor. Everybody was going to be a realtor. Everybody was in real estate in some way, shape, or form.
Yep.
I don't think it's as strong anymore, the case. But yeah, it was like you couldn't throw a rock without hitting a realtor.
I still think that's true. I mean, the per capita
active realtors.
I would love to know per capita how many realtors we have.
We probably have more realtors than we have properties to sell.
Oh, yeah. It's funny that on Instagram I follow a lot of realtors and in the last few just people that happen to be realtors.
Oh, okay.
And in the last few years, I would see all these people posting oh, look at my commission check. I got a contract today for $900,000. Blah 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 blah. Now they're a little quiet. Now the real estate market is
now it's more pictures of the beach.
Yes.
The shore.
We love the realtors. But yeah, I thought that was pretty on point.
Yeah.
Which don't get me wrong, I'm totally up for everything described in that post.
I'm here for my little.
I'm okay. I'm here for all of that.
Yeah.
But it's okay, that is a real Miami.
Yeah, that is definitely beyond South Beach.
Yes, that is beyond South. Well, we're coming full circle. So this week we lost Angela Lansbury.
Oh, I know. Oh. Damn you, 2022.
Angela Lansbury had a little special place in my heart.
I know.
She was the same age as my grandmother. Y se llamaba Angela.
That's right.
And she didn't look like my grandmother.
Okay, there was a picture they posted this week of her, like one of her last pictures or whatever, that I was like, it looks like
Se
there's
daba
abuela.
un tipito. Like,
Sí.
like she was the same type of old lady.
Right.
Right. First of all, I didn't realize that. I mean, look, when she did Murder, She Wrote, I think it's just easy to assume that she had a very prosperous career before that. Before Murder, She Wrote.
Well, yeah, she was Academy Award.
Well, that's what I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know she had so many Tonys.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I didn't know she was like a Broadway.
She's a Broadway baby. She's Auntie Mame.
Yeah, I didn't know
She was super good friends with B. Arthur.
Yeah, I didn't know that part. But Mrs. Potts.
Yeah.
But you know what? Life well lived. Like,
It's just funny because she's one of those people that, like, I always thought of her as old.
yeah, but when she started doing Murder, She Wrote, she was like in her early 50s.
Like, yeah, like late.
Y parecía una señora.
She was una señora.
She was
That's
J-Lo's age.
right. But there's just certain people who it's like, and I know a part of it is also because when that was around, we were young, so obviously she's gonna look older.
Yeah, but you know what though? It's interesting you're saying that about her because I saw the package they made of her in NBC on the Today Show a couple of days ago, and I think it was in The Manchurian Candidate.
Oh yeah,
The guy who was her son, she was only 3 years
Yeah.
older than him,
Yeah.
and she was playing his mother.
yeah.
And they were saying
And they
that-
didn't like age her or anything
No,
either. It's
she
not,
played his
yeah.
mother, and she
Yeah.
was only 3 years older than him. And they were saying that that's how she started in movies, getting typecasted.
Yeah, she was.
But the thing is that she was always one of these women that looked older. Like she looked young when she was like in her early 20s, but then by the time she hit 30, ya parecía una señora.
Una señora, yeah.
So but you know, life well lived. It's so funny because like when I was reading and hearing so much about her this week, they continuously left off one of the movies of hers I like the most.
Bed Knobs and Broomsticks.
Of course.
I've never seen that movie.
You've never seen that movie?
Never
Oh my god,
seen
that
it.
movie's great.
I've
I'm
never
like,
seen
why
that
is
movie.
Bed Knobs and Broomsticks not getting? That's part of the Disney Masterpiece Collection.
That's true.
How is this not getting any love?
You know, when you've got Bed Knobs, but you've also got Beauty and the Beast, you're gonna go with Beauty and the Beast.
Mrs. Potts.
Mrs. Potts. Mrs. Potts is, she's iconic.
Yeah, and that's my favorite.
Mrs. Potts?
Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, it's like it's hard to pick your
Yeah,
favorite
yeah.
Disney movie,
Especially from the
the
time
Disney
frame.
Renaissance.
Yeah.
But that one's my favorite. I mean, I know The Little Mermaid. It's hard because I also like The Little Mermaid and I also like Pocahontas. But I love the songs from Beauty and the Beast. And my favorite, well, my favorite character from Beauty and the Beast is
El Escaparate.
El Escaparate. El Escaparate it's more like a cameo, but it's important, it's swift, and it's memorable.
She's very impactful.
Oh! Didn't I ever tell you, and listeners, if you enjoy Beauty and the Beast, you know what I'm talking about. So obviously, I saw Beauty and the Beast along with everybody else when it came out in the 90s, and I had it on home video and whatever. I think it was like in the early 2000s, like 2001 or 2002, they re-released it. I think it was in its 10th anniversary.
Yes, and they
on
added
IMAX.
They added a scene.
And I remember I went to go see it on IMAX at Sunset Place. And they had a deleted scene that's a whole number.
all about the
by
Escaparate.
And I didn't know that was coming. So I'm there watching the movie. I'm like, what is this? It's a whole 5 minutes
Of
to my favorite character that nobody knows about.
Escaparate.
That is such a great word. That is your definition of like how Spanish.
If you say
words,
a wardrobe, whatever.
a wardrobe.
Whatever.
Oh,
whatever.
kids, get out of the wardrobe.
Right. Meh.
Not even Narnia can make
Right.
the wardrobe sound
No,
sexy.
at all.
But in Spanish, escaparate.
So in Spanish, is that called el león, la bruja y el escaparate?
Yeah. El león, la bruja y el escaparate. The witch, the
Witch of the Wardrobe.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Narnia, Miami style would be great. Mira, you have an escaparate en una casa en Hialeah. And you know what? El escaparate is it's a vortex or whatever to like Cuba before the revolution.
Okay. Pre-revolution.
Yes,
okay.
pre-revolution, right? So it's like, oh my God, like the possibilities are endless.
You heard it here first. Ladies who gave us Amparo, feel free to run with this. Because we're not going to write it. But we put the idea out there. Feel free to go with it. Because
Leo la bruja y el escaparate. That's such a great word.
That sounds like a novela.
Starting Lucia Mende.
Who has a Netflix show.
Oh, I'm watching that shit.
It already came out.
No, I know. I'm watching
It's only 6 episodes. It's her, Laura Zapata, Lorena Herrera, and some other lady that I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, but then there's like a competing one called Villanas on Canela TV.
If Veronica Castro is not on it, it's not competing.
It's who is it? Tony from Spanish Key Presents was at it the other day, and he posted at the premiere.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But yeah, this great novela. El escaparate. And it's so funny because when anybody talks to you, like when they're not that I talk about Cuba, but when they're talking about like their life back in the day.
Right.
No, porque teníamos los muebles y el escaparate. Que ese
true.
escaparate era de mami.
Era buenísimo.
Que era buenísimo. Eso lo trajeron en un banco de España.
I'm picturing this just giant ship full of escaparates.
Right.
Like that's all that they
Okay,
brought.
you know, the escaparate was like 1,000 years old, right?
Yes.
Right? Yeah. It's so funny because the escaparates are not, like wardrobes are not.
No, you don't use it in this country, especially.
In the United States, we have walk-in closets.
Right. You see a lot of escaparates when you watch like House Hunters International.
No, you also see a lot of escaparates like up north in houses that are like 100 years old.
Right, because
That
there's
didn't
no
have proper
closet. Right,
closets.
right.
You'll see un
escaparate.
escaparate. I wonder how you say that in Swedish. Likkshent. A likkshent. A likkshent. Swinnerkost. I always love when I go to IKEA and I buy those little tables, the lack.
The lack.
Or I love my bookshelf, the Billy.
What is it? Was it you that told me that they're all named after like
They're all names after bodies of water.
bodies of water?
And I was thinking,
Oye, pero con lo pequeño que es Sweden.
no, but
so
listen
much.
to this. This is the
much
learn.
water.
This is the learn part of the day. Do you know what country in the world has the most islands? Like 20,000? It's Sweden.
Really?
I was like, I thought it would be like Indonesia or
Yeah,
something like that.
Polynesian or yeah.
No, Sweden. Because if you look at the coastline of Sweden, it's all little islands.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And they're all every single thing you see in IKEA, it's named after bodies of water. But I'm thinking like, okay, IKEA corporate must have a department
To keep track of all the bodies of water.
because that's a lot.
That is a lot.
And then the thing about IKEA is that like, okay, let's say we're talking about like tableware.
Right.
Los tenedores, las cucharas.
Right.
It's not like, okay, all the tenedor y cuchara that we have are like Schlievelbach, right? Whatever.
No. Each style.
Each
It
one
has a different name.
Different
Yes,
name.
yes.
Right? So it's like, wow. Like,
That's what I'm saying. How much bodies of water do they have in that
do
little
they
country?
have like a database? Like they have to
They
have
have
a
to.
database.
They have to keep track somehow.
And my further question is, do they recycle the names?
So like if the Billy, let's say, stops being
discontinued.
discontinued, will they name something else the
Right.
Billy?
So there's a river or body of water in Sweden called Billy. Hey,
Aw, I hope Billy Piper visits it.
so cute. Like the last time I took Tristan to IKEA, he's like, "Oh my god!" He was so excited to go to the cafe, and he's like, "This is Swedish food." Well, I mean, I love
the
the
cafe.
meatballs,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
with
yeah.
the lindenberry sauce. Oh, put it by the spoonful.
Yeah.
Like
It's like their version of Parmesan cheese. I'm not gonna say when.
Échalo. And Tristan's like, "Oh my god, I'm so excited! This is Swedish food." And he's like, he really thought the
That it was
meatballs were from Sweden.
Sweden.
And I was like, "Ay, no te voy a robar la ilusión."
Don't do it. Don't rob his illusion.
Anyway, oh yeah, this has made me thirsty.
I know. It really was a heavy week. Like,
It was.
a
But we
lot.
ended it with some fun.
There's a lot to talk about. No, I'm saying like heavy, just in terms of like a lot of content just packed in.
Yes. This is what happens when you leave.
It's true. It's when I leave the area code.
Yeah.
So, do you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
You go first.
All right. So, as you know, because we've said it, I was recently traveling, so obviously I had to go to MIA, And when I was at MIA, it was early in the morning, leaving here.
As in Miami International
Yes,
Airport.
sorry, yes, I was not on the paper planes with MIA. So I get to my gate. My gate was literally next to the little Versailles in the airport. So I'm getting my food, whatever. I'm ordering. I'm just standing back and I'm noticing. It didn't matter who came to that window. It didn't matter what language they spoke. The señoras at the Versailles Ventanita were going to speak to you in Spanish. And if you didn't speak Spanish, they were going to speak Spanish to you, but just louder.
Right.
So I'm giving it to
Let's
them.
add that to the real Miami.
Right.
You want Miami?
You want authenticity? Here you go. So I'm going to give it to all those señoras because it was wonderful to watch them. No importaba quién. They would come in, they'd be like, yeah, a coffee. And she's like, un café. And they would be like, café.
Have you noticed what the prices there are?
Yeah, it's airport prices.
Un pastelito de guayaba was like $4.
It's airport prices. Then it just became like, un sandwich. ¿Tú quieres un sandwich? And then they'd be like, a toast with bread. Tostada. Lo que tú ajá. And then obviously then the sign language. Con mantequilla. It was wonderful. So I'm going to give it to them just because, you know what? That's one of the best ways to start your day.
Una vieja cubana at some type of service job is the best thing ever.
It is.
The best thing ever.
It should be one of our exports.
I told you that I love when I'm in Hialeah and I'm like on a Walgreens or a CVS and it's always una mirta.
Oh, yeah.
Ay, un price check, por favor.
The world has been heavy on their shoulders.
And they're always like, ay, why do I have to be here? And a lot of people feel that way about their job. But they don't
express it.
Yeah, but they are the true definition of quiet quitting.
Oh, yes. Those señoras have been quiet quitting before it was a term.
They've been quiet quitting for generations and decades. My personal favorite is you, a la Palma.
Doesn't matter where.
You a la...
wait. Con café con leche.
Café con leche. It was like 10:30.
Told the story.
We have. It was like 10:30 at night. You're like, señora, me gustaría un café con leche. And, And what I think is so funny about that story is that she didn't try to hide it. Like, you asked her for café con leche. She takes 2 steps back. She's like, ay, tú sabes ordenar un café con leche a esta hora. And it's like...
Yes, that's what I wanted.
It's on the menu. It's not like, this is an In-N-Out Burger that there's just...
Right. I'd like a café con leche animal style.
Oh my God, can you imagine if like Versailles or like Arreda or all that had like a secret menu?
Oh. You know what? It would never happen. Have you ever met a Cuban that can keep a secret?
No, that's true. And they'll be shouting it.
Exactly.
But I love it. I love that it's just like, oh. And when something new comes around, like a new cashier system or like...
Ay, imagínate, cambiaron la caja.
Ay. It's like...
Esto lo cambiaron y ahora no funciona.
No entiendo nada. And then they pick up the phone, that's the intercom at Walgreens or CVS. Manager in front desk. And then you're there, and I'm like, dude, I'm just buying a vitamin water. Why am I like taking... Like,
I can leave you the $2 on the counter.
I just want my vitamin water and go. But I love it. Like, I love it. So that story is...
It's pure. And again... I saw people there of all nationalities. Yeah, like right. The president of IKEA could have been there.
They wanted meatballs at Versailles.
It didn't matter.
Albóndiga, no?
Albóndiga a las 7 de la mañana.
No, but it'll be funny if they give like fucking like Cuban albóndiga, Like, aquí no hay linimberry, aquí hay puré de tomate. Hacemos las albóndigas. Hacemos la albóndiga con sofrito or whatever.
Oh, Dios mío. So yes, La Señora at Versailles. It's the best way. If you're at Miami International Airport, it's the best way to wake up.
Now that I said sofrito, I'll never forget that one of like the most just outer body experiences I had because like I was like, wow. Like to be in like that house when that happened was a friend of mine up in the Midwest that he was talking to like my other friends. And he was telling them how he was cooking for his family. And he's like, yeah, because I was cooking and I had the sofrito. And at first I didn't make any... I didn't
connect it.
Completely went over my head. Completely. And then I realized that he was making like enchiladas or something.
Right.
Which that doesn't even go with that. But go with me. And I'm like... He kept saying, right, because, I added the sofrito and then I put in, like, what? I'm like, did this man
just
say sofrito instead of sofrito? Because, they sell sofrito by the jar.
Yeah.
Right? which I've never tried it, but
Well,
I mean,
why
that
would
would be
we?
sacrilege,
Yeah, why
right?
would we?
Blasphemy. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, I would have loved to have been there when he was making this to, like, his family and probably have been like, oh, look at the Sofrito.
He's so
And
ethnic.
So anyway, so my last soda. So actually last week when I was chatting with Neri in our previous episode 224, we brought up the comedy duo Pair of Nuts.
Oh, yes.
Which is Yamil Piedra, which we've had on the show, and Johnny.
He goes by Johnny Trabs, but I know that Trabs is short for something.
But
can't
I
remember
actually want to give them my last soda.
Pair of Nuts.
Pair of Nuts, yeah. And Yamil was our guest. Yamil's awesome.
He's fucking hilarious. He's playing Sereno now.
Because what else would he? We got to send him a shirt.
We do need to send him a shirt. Yes.
Because you know what? There's a lot of local comedians right now that are killing it, that are great. But these guys are the OGs.
For sure.
These guys were going viral before viral was a thing, which is what we talked about in last week's episode. But when I came back home, I really started to think about it. As he said, you remember, like, I started watching them again, Chonga Chat.
Oh my God, Chonga Chat's great. Gayo is great.
Gayo's like the best.
Some might say it hasn't aged well, but you know what? It has, because it's not anymore. It's not hurtful. You know what I mean? It's not mean-spirited necessarily.
Una mayonesa como muy corriente. Because you know what I think is so creative about that? I mean, I imagine that the train of thought was that mayo sounds with gayo.
Right.
But then it was somehow mayonnaise.
¿Qué tú estás haciendo? Nada que un sándwich.
Ay, pero con una mayonesa como muy corriente. And then, fuck me and Diaz is just...
Oh my God. With
that's other level.
Our secretary,
Maria. But, like, these guys were onto something. Because I think now, and to extension us, there's been sort of like an awakening, a renaissance in the last, I would say, 6, 7, 8 years of like Miami culture, like people that are from Miami, and Martha of Miami is one of the people who best epitomizes
Miami
that,
creation myth,
right?
Yeah,
us to a certain extent. All these comedians, whether it's Neri or Mario Ramil or
Carlos. I forget his last name. Yeah, all of them. I mean,
a lot of their comedy, which is freaking hilarious, is Miami centric.
Right.
It's about the experience of living in Miami, but these guys were doing that like before. I think it was a thing. Yeah. I don't even know if they realized they were doing what they were doing, because sometimes you do this and you don't realize it
when you're the first.
But these guys were killing it and representing like the Miami culture in comedy, like doing comedy content. There were content creators of Miami culture way before it was a thing, and they went viral. Because those videos went viral.
Hello, we spent an entire night at my place just watching all their videos on my TV.
Yes. And I remember, back then it was like when you would hook up your computer to the TV. Sacar el cable, sacar el HDMI.
Yes.
And connect it to the computer. And I showed that to everybody too, because it was so perfectly like...
It was us.
It was perfect. Yeah. So I wanted to give them a shout out, because I think they're like the OGs. They were hilarious. We went to see them at the Improv. Don't you remember?
That's right.
Yeah,
I completely forgot about them until you said it right now.
That we went to see a pair of nuts in the Improv. That I remember I'll never forget the part that Johnny came out with like, "Where's Waldo?" and he came out with like a
the sweater
shirt. But yeah, so last soda to them, because they're awesome. And yeah, maybe you could say that Gayo hasn't aged well, but you still watch that and you crack up.
Again, it's not mean-spirited.
You cracked up. And I love, there's one that Jamil had, that he goes to a restaurant and they're like, "What's your name?" He's like, "Jamil." And they're like, "Rene?" They're like, "Jamil." And they're like, "Michael's like, Jamil." Like, I love that one too, because that happens to me when people are like, "What's your name?" "Darian." And I've always told you, when I say my name Darian, people are like, "Gary?" And people have said that throughout the year, so clearly it sounds like Gary.
You know why I get a lot? Because I say Ismael. They're like, "Oh, Mike."
Yes, it's Michael.
Right. I'm like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That's
Michael.
why I say Ish now.
Yeah. No, that's why sometimes I go by DJ too. Like, when I see whoever's taking, depending on who's
at
on
Starbucks,
the other side, I'm like, DJ.
Yeah.
So, Anyway, bueno, wow, that was a packed episode.
It was.
That was a packed episode. Bueno, everybody, we hope you listened, laughed, and learned. Remember that we will be back next week with my birthday party results of my cake. What will we get?
We don't know.
We don't
so
know.
excited.
I don't know. I'm getting some scones.
I'm pulling for the strudel.
Some lemon poppy muffins.
Oh. The good thing about that is that you can take it to dinner then. I can have
then always, and then my mom, ay, pero yo, like,
esto no es lo que yo siempre te compro.
Ay, pero yo no sé lo que tú querías. That's like I always tell you when people are like, I don't know what to get you. I'm one of the easiest person. Okay, name all the things that you can get me and you'll never go wrong.
James Bond, Full House, The Weeknd, something about palaces, floating palaces like cruises, The Shining, The Yankees, Mariah. And that's like, what, 7 things off the top of my head? Yeah.
You get me anything related to that, and I'll be like,
you'll be fine.
My
You're
God,
good. Yeah.
This is like the greatest thing ever. Yeah. And those are interests that I have that are very defined.
Right.
Anybody that knows me knows that, right?
Should.
And then I have people like my parents. I don't know what to get you. Es que a ti no te gusta nada. And I'm like, okay. I'm sure our listeners, they go through the same thing. Like,
I'm sure our listeners could probably get you a gift at this point.
Or like a spouse or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what to get you. You don't like anything. And I'm like, I only have to like write it down and put it on the wall, like for you not to know that, but whatever. Anyway, everybody, we hope you listened, laughed, and learned. And as always, remember to grab your pastelito, your croqueta, and your cake from me this year, cafecito. And thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Cuídense, mi gente. Bye. Pero Let Me Tell You is co-hosted by Darian Borges and Ismaeliano, produced by Ismaeliano, and our theme, Pero Let Me Tell You Freestyle, is composed by Michael Angelo Lansbury, the official gay guy. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes.
What happens when you put 2 culture critics from national television, one Latino and one Black, in front of a microphone? You get the Brown and Black Podcast.
Hey everyone, I'm Jack Rico.
And I'm Mike Sargent.
And in a time where voices of color are mostly absent from the media,
Brown and Black intends to speak candidly about the controversial issues that affect us.
we also have some great guests on the show. I mean, we've had John Leguizamo, George Lopez,
Spike Lee, Harvey Mason Jr.
But not only that, Mike, we're really all about breaking down race in pop culture so that our creators of color can be on the screen.
Brown and Black is about the intersection between race and pop culture. We're just waiting for you to listen.
Listen to Brown and Black on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, or wherever you get your podcasts.